In your insights and your stance on the entire matter at this point, viewers. This is where we are leaving it at, this very update that we bring to you of the Murthy family's reaction and their comments on the caste survey. With that, we have more breaking news coming in from the state of Karnataka. DK Shivkumar recounts BJP poaching BID. DK drops the BJP offer bombshell. Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivkumar has said that he was offered Deputy Chief Minister post in BJP rule. I rejected the BJP offer and chose jail. Former Delhi, this is DK Shivkumar again saying, former Delhi top cop threatened me. These are the comments that's coming from the Deputy Chief Minister. Let's quickly listen into what he said.
ಒಬ್ಬ ಡಿ ಜಿ ಇದ್ದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ದ, ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಫೋನಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ನೀವು ಡೆಪ್ಟಿ ಸಿ ಎಮ್ ಆಯ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ, ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ವಾಪಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿರೋ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮ ಇದ್ದರು, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಪಕ್ಷದ ನಿಷ್ಠೆ, ಭಾಳ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ವಯಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲೇ ರಾಜೀವ್ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಅವರು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು, ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಬಂಗಾರಪ್ಪ ನನಗೆ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದರು, ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಪ್ರಿಫರ್ ಎ ಜೈಲ್ ದೆನ್ ಬಿಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಡೆಪ್ಟಿ ಚೀಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸೊ ಅವತ್ತು ಆಗ್ಬೋದಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೇನೇನು ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತೋ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
With that, let me go across to Aabha Bakaya of Business Today TV with all updates of the markets in this business show. Aabha, over to you.
Well, good morning and welcome to Market Opening on our collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. Just after 9, let's get you ahead of the curve as markets kick off for the day. First, a look at the headlines. Speculation growing over a possible breakthrough in trade talks as India's chief negotiator Rajesh Agrawal travels to the US once again. Donald Trump adds to the buzz, says Prime Minister Modi has assured him India will not purchase oil from Russia, a major obstacle to a deal till now. Global oil prices react strongly to Trump's statement on India agreeing to stop buying Russian crude. Both Brent and West Texas Intermediate oil futures up more than 1%. Both had slumped to a 5-month low earlier this week on fears of a supply glut. India has continuously said buying oil from Russia has kept crude prices low. India's GDP growth will be even higher if there is an early resolution to the India-US trade deal negotiations, says RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra. He adds that while the rupee has not appreciated like other currencies in the past few months, it's being monitored to ensure exporters are not hurt and to maximize India's competitive edge. Big relief likely for MSMEs facing global trade and tariff headwinds. Government says it's finalized the contours of the export promotion mission and will roll out schemes by 15th of November. Industry to get easy access to export credit and cross-border factoring support. Markets likely to rise for a second day as Asian indices signal a positive start. Tech stocks in focus again on investors buying on dips. Opposing statements from the Trump administration keeping investors guessing. Gold futures top $4,200 for the first time amid heightened global price swings. MCX to levy an additional margin of 2% in silver future contracts from tomorrow. Well, before we head to equities, let's focus on the currency with the rupee opening at 87.8 to the dollar versus Wednesday's close of 88.08. That's nearly a 2-month high against the dollar, trading there at 87.75 to the dollar. Yesterday, the rupee recovered 75 paise. So huge swings on the currency. Let's go across to Abhishek Goenka, founder and CEO, India Forex and Asset Management. Abhishek, good morning. How would you explain what we're seeing on the rupee and what's leading to the strengthening, and quite an extreme reaction at that?
Good morning, Aabha.
Good morning.
The rupee had weakened despite the fact that the dollar had weakened globally. and we were the worst performer. And mainly this was because of the tariff situation that India was facing, the maximum amount of tariff that was levied on us. But actually, if you see, from a real effective exchange rate, which is a benchmark that we track, to see the relative valuation of the rupee as compared to other currencies, rupee was slightly more weak than it should be. The fair value, as per our calculations, should be close to 87 to a dollar. The levels of 89 was something which was not warranted. And now, with heavy intervention seen by RBI yesterday, there was speculation in the market that there were long position built on the US dollar against the rupee, which RBI crushed yesterday. And with this recent news of settlement happening between India and America on Russian oil, if there is some truth in that statement, that is also adding comfort to the rupee, and that's the reason it's been appreciating since yesterday.
Okay, just a quick outlook then, Abhishek, given that there's never complete certainty with what's happening in the US, but yes, we seem to be on the verge of a trade deal. Do you feel that the rupee will continue to hover at these levels?
So as I said, if we have a trade deal, and then definitely the dollar flows, which was not hitting the interbank. What I mean to say is that exporters were kind of away from the market because they were not getting certainty in terms of their orders and in terms of what kind of deliveries they can do. They were not coming in the market and selling any dollars. Whereas when the rupee was depreciating, the importers were still very active. So there was a one-side dollar demand which was there in the interbank market. Now, with that clarity coming in, just in case we get 100% clarity of a trade deal, then the exporters who have not covered above 88 levels, they would suddenly come into the market and start selling. And that will push the rupee even more stronger. So my feeling is that 87 to a dollar should be a good level to get stabilized. And we should not see immediate depreciation in the rupee now.
Right. Fantastic, Abhishek. Thanks so much for taking us through that in detail. And as Abhishek also referred to, the RBI has said it does not expect a depreciation in prices of gold to hit its reserves or household budgets. Speaking at an IMF event, the RBI governor assuaged fears of the impact of a fall in gold prices.
Any depreciation, because the mix is so diverse, I cannot divulge the numbers to you for obvious reasons. It does not have, very high implications for us. And I don't think, it has implications for households because mostly, it is bought in households. It has great sentimental value, as you are saying. I have not seen households actually, kind of selling gold or using it, for their needs. So I don't think, that there is.
I think the Indian households buy gold irrespective of the price.
Irrespective, yeah.
They keep buying. It's very hard to argue against that. So.
Lots of commentary and lots of action to track across equities, commodities and currency this morning. We'll, of course, come back to some of those key newsmakers, but let's take a look at the overnight action as we head to the opening bell. Bit of volatility on Wall Street overnight. Asia this morning looking positive. We did see some amount of buying coming back into tech overnight as well. S&P 500, NASDAQ hit closing a little higher while Dow remained pretty much flat. Pulling it up on your screen, a little bit of a mixed bag, but definitely some buying coming back into tech overnight. And this morning, Asia is actually looking fairly supportive. Counting down to opening now, just a few seconds to go. Let's see what we shape up to. Looking at a positive start, of course, especially with the background of a trade deal and positive commentary coming in overnight from the US. Let's see what we're opening at right now on your screen. 0.3% on the Nifty, 25393. That's how we're kicking off this Thursday. It has has been steady last few sessions. Nifty Bank up about 0.5% right now as well. So opening there steady. IT seeing a little bit of pressure coming in today. Remember, we're watching out for Infi earnings. That's the big one to keep an eye on. And a whole slew of earnings that we've been tracking for you from that space. Axis is looking really strong this morning. We'll take a closer look at that. But 3% Q2 results. They did miss estimates except for NIMS, but profit also down. We'll come back and talk to Gaurang about that because the stock is still seeing perhaps some value buying at lower levels. Profits down 26% to close to 5,000 crores. Net income up about 2%, net interest income. ICICI Bank, HCL Tech Mahindra steady as well, 0.5% higher there, but some pressure on IT. So let's pull up the losers and we'll get a sense of where that pressure is coming from. HDFC Life, Shriram Finance, SBI Life, some of the other financials definitely putting some weight on the index today. There you have it. Infi down about 0.5% or a little bit more now. Clearly watching out and a little nervous ahead of earnings. Shell, good morning. How's the opening setup looking to you?
Well, Aabha, just as we had talked about yesterday, 25,350 is with us. In fact, 25,400 now. As you look up, a lot of very strong breakouts happening on many indices and many Nifty stocks for the better. So markets are headed higher, 400 points up on the Nifty Bank. Remember, PSU banks are leading this rally. The advanced decline ratio is very, very strong. 1,670 shares in the green, 650 in the red. 18 out of 19 indices are in the green. And we are all prepping for Diwali. The market should look good. Gold has started live above $42,000, $4,200 an ounce. And it's banks, banks and banks all the way.
Exactly. Gaurang, good morning. As always, good to have you with us. Banks all the way. Let's pull up Axis on the back of those earnings. It's a miss, but this street clearly seeing some action on Axis this morning.
Thank you so much, Aabha, for having me on the show. Good morning to all the viewers of India Today, to you and to my good friend Shail. A small disclosure, all recommendations this morning on the show are a part of our research team recommendations. Our company, Geojit or I, we do not have any personal investment, no financial interest, no conflict of interest. But we give advice to our clients on similar lines. They might have their investment interest over there. So speaking about Axis Bank, yeah, it was a little bit of a disappointment. I don't think it's a major concern, Aabha. I would rather look at it as a one-off and with an anticipation and hope that going into the third and the fourth quarter in the next financial year, there should be significant improvement. Having said that, we do have a positive coverage on Axis Bank. And my understanding, Aabha, is that not only for the second quarter, but for third, fourth quarter and next financial year, BFSI segment is going to outperform. And I think they are going to be in the spotlight for all the good reasons, be it public sector bank, private sector bank, or strong NBFCs. We have seen consistent downtick as far as gross net NPA is concerned. And with the credit demand going up, we expect the loan book growth to also show a significant higher number.
Okay, so positive commentary coming in on Axis, up 3% today post earnings. No significant miss according to Gaurang. Let's take a look at some of the other earning reactions as well. Oberoi Realty, we've got net profit up 29%. Let's see if we're seeing any reaction coming in there. HDFC Life also seeing earnings, net premium income up 14% this time around. So Oberoi Realty up close to 5%. And we've been seeing some phenomenal numbers across real estate actually. HDFC Life, let's pull that up for you as well. And that one is seeing down by about 4% on the back of those earnings. Gaurang, I'll come to you on either or both on earnings reaction.
Well, so, Aabha, what I would say, though it's a little bit early for the Q2 earnings, whatever has unfolded, there was a little bit of pessimism in terms of how the numbers are going to be. Now, I'll give you one simple example. For IT sector, I think a lot of people had written down an obituary and had advised to stay away from the IT sector and IT stocks. But look at the numbers that they have delivered despite of the headwinds that they are facing. Now, if you have to fast forward a little bit and assume that the backdrop of events which are currently there are going to improve for good, then my sense is that earnings for not only IT, but sectorially speaking, since you asked me this question, my understanding is that banking and finance, BSFI that I mentioned, defense, cap goods engineering, autos, consumption, cement, and capital market related stocks. These some 5-6 sectors are going to show some really good outperformance in terms of delivery of numbers. And my advice would be to all the viewers of India Today and who are interested in investing stock market, that don't write off India as of now. There is a lot more that we are going to see going forward from here on. And the fact of the matter is, Aabha, that we are closer to the all-time highs and not closer to the all-time lows.
All right, fair enough. And it's good to hear that, especially as we're in the peak of festive season and looking forward to better year ahead. But talking about the background context as well, a trade deal between India and the US could be around the corner. Three big developments overnight. India's top trade negotiator, Rajesh Agarwal, is back to traveling to the US, fueling buzz about a possible breakthrough in those long-stalled negotiations. Second, a statement by the Commerce Ministry opening doors to a major energy deal with the US. The ministry has said that India has headroom for another $14 to $15 billion in energy exports from the US, a move which could partly bridge the trade deficit which has rankled the Trump administration. And third, Donald Trump claimed that Prime Minister Modi has assured him India won't be buying oil from Russia, and that'll have its own implications. Let's go across to Business Today's Surbhi, who's been tracking all these developments closely. Surbhi, just run us through some of the key developments and their implications.
Hello, good morning. So yes, the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of hectic negotiations and visits between Indian and US officials on how to go about a possible breakthrough in the trade deal. The US has already indicated that, India having to stop buying crude oil from Russia is a key issue for it, without which the trade deal cannot proceed. Now, yesterday, Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agarwal has said that India is willing to diversify its crude oil supplies and has said that there's headroom for more oil purchase from the US, subject that it is to the right price. So India believes that it can buy more from the US, but we have to see what happens on the Russian crude oil imports for India as well. But there's hope that there could be a trade deal between India and US going forward, but maybe not this month because of the US shutdown that is currently underway. But maybe in November, early December is what we are expecting. We also must remember that the last round of formal negotiations, the fifth round, happened in July, and since then there's not been any official talks. Even yesterday, the Commerce Secretary said that we should not consider this as the sixth round of talks, but he said that the idea is to proceed and see how this deadlock can be broken.
All right, Surbhi, thanks.
India,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for both India and the US, it seems that the trade deal is becoming a big issue because with the China problems on rare earth metals, with the US is looking to diversify its trade basket, and Indian exports to the US have also been dropping. Thank you.
All right. Surbhi, thanks for taking us through that. Let's also get you a quick excerpt from Trump's commentary.
He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia, because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people, by the way. Russia's lost 1.5 million people, soldiers mostly. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the fourth year. And I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing.
Okay, now promised to also come back to commodities, and we've of course seen that in intense shoot up on gold above 4,200. MCX also imposing that 2% on trades when it comes to silver contracts. Gaurang, just take us through what you feel the rationale is there. MCX right now down close to 2%.
I think they've rallied also as much, isn't it, Aabha? Whether it is stocks related to commodity market or whether it is stocks related to the Indian capital markets. So there is no up north one way for any sector or stock. Those go up tend to go in a sideways mode and then come down because of profit booking, because short-term traders or investors would want to book profit. But over a longer period of time, let me say this without going into name specific. If you are a believer that the Indian economy is going to grow at maybe 6.5 or maybe more, I'm talking about the GDP run rate, earnings can go by about 15% or 20% conservatively on the lower double-digit number that I'm talking about. Sure. If you look at 3-year, 5-year time horizon and perspective, when you compound yourself by investing an X particular amount, in the coming years, you can imagine where you can go and land up, right? So, if you are a long-term investor, my understanding is that not only the Indian capital markets will do well, but the Indian commodity markets will also do well. And on fallback of that, I think strong players which contribute or enable trades or give services will also do well.
Okay. Let's take a look at what else is moving in the markets. We've been talking about banks, of course, and Axis on top of the charts over there, but a lot of other private banks also moving. The index is up about 0.8% right now. We've also got some action coming in on the consumer durable front, so some amount of a pickup on those names as well. Let's pull up a few for you. There you have it. The Nifty consumers up about 0.6%, so a little bit of action coming in there. Also want to touch upon some of the order wins and see if those stocks are moving. We've got Jyoti Structures, we've got MTAR Technologies, KEC International, BEL, lots of order wins and a lot of action coming in across some of these names. No reaction on a Jyoti, but we'll pull up some of the others to see if any of them are reacting to order win news as well. Shell, what are you tracking?
Well, Aabha, I'm tracking strength and it's getting better and better. Now a century on the Nifty, a triple century on the Bank Nifty. So the going is good. As far as markets are concerned, a lot of strength coming more so in the banking space in terms of all-time highs. Ahead of its earnings, it's Eternal, which is Zomato, and Bajaj Finance. I think the FinServ sector deserves a lot of attention ahead of the festival season. Look at Poonawalla Finance, look at Bajaj FinServ, Cholamandalam Finance. These are all financiers for consumer goods, and all of them are likely to do well. More importantly, PSUs are clicking. Look at telecom giant ITI, look at a strength that's coming into JM Financial, and of course fertilizer stocks doing well, NFL, RCF. So PSUs are buzzing with gains, banks are strong, and NBFCs are coming up on strong charts. Aabha.
Okay, it's all about financials this morning. Whether it's NBFCs, private banks, we're seeing action across the board there. Gaurang, a lot of earnings. So before we let you go today, which are the key ones you'll be watching out for? We've got IT, Bajaj Finance, Eternal, a whole host of earnings set to come out. And I know you're in a very philosophical mood this morning, so you might be ready to give me a very generic answer. But tell me specifically which ones you're watching out for.
No, I think Eternal would be the one, and Bajaj Finance. And as a disclosure, we've been positive on both these companies for a pretty long time. Of course, Eternal is a very recent listing. We've been positive. That is Zomato, earlier known as Aabha. Yes. So we had covered under the IPO also, Zomato, that is now Eternal. My sense is that these two companies should do well in terms of reported earnings, not only for the second quarter, but for a couple of quarters to come by.
All right. And Gaurang, Shell has been tracking some of your picks, and you spoke very positively about L&T last time. So he's insisting I check with you on that, because we have seen a good run up in L&T now.
Well, this is just a trailer, Aabha and Shell. I think the picture is yet to come.
Okay. That's the clear takeaway from today's show. Great, and it's a great countdown to Diwali as well. That's all we have time for now. Shell, Gaurang, thanks so much for joining us. And stay tuned. We'll track the closing action, of course, in the afternoon. Thank you.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, the true flagship killer.
Bliss weaves the magic of warmth into a cold day. Experience bliss